Not sure if that's gonna be a remake or not. Give us a second to find out. Nothing being said, we'll just assume this is good to go. Alright, boys and girls, this is the Acer Team Story Cup. Thank you for watching. It's currently 2-1 in the favor of Axiom versus Acer in this best of 9 between these two teams, but it's a best of 1 between these two players. Spawning here in the top right corner of the map, he's going to be the blue Terran player, Axiom's Heart.
I think he was probably the only one with referee. In the top left, as the red Zerg, it is actually Acer Scarlett.
Yeah, so a little bit of debate going on. Acer Team Story Cup does have some pretty strict rules, but they also, I think, they can't exactly penalize Scarlett for not having an account, but they did tell her, look, you have to have this fixed by the next clan war, so hopefully she'll be able to find an account, borrow friends, rename it, whatever the case may be, to actually have an account that says Scarlett for the next time she ever has to play in Korea. Because I'm sure that this warning is just simply for now a warning, but this is something that can easily turn into a penalty point later on. We saw last season too, some weird penalties went off. You remember, if you guys watched, we had Invictus Gaming suffer like 2 losses versus Axiom because they were 10 minutes late. So I mean, there are rules in place for like every sort of part of the Acer Team Story Cup, and they do tend to enforce them, but it was kind of, I gotta say, it's kind of nice that they just gave her a warning, because it would really suck, honestly, to like take a penalty point or something because you just didn't have an account with your name on it.
Yeah, if it was gonna be a penalty point, I have to assume that they would quickly use the free name change, like rather than suffer the penalty. But yeah. I don't know.
Well, you know, one of the big things about Scarlett that we got to consider for my guys is, you know, she unfortunately didn't work out so well in WCS. This isn't ZVZ, of course, like she had lost over there, but the one thing you got to kind of remember at the same time is, you know, she's in Korea, she's training. We don't know how good versus bad her mentality is, what it's like in the condition she's, like, I doubt she's like in some hostel where they're like barely giving her food or anything like that, but I mean, you don't know whether she's comfortable where she is, and that can really throw you off when you're playing a very serious match such as the one at hand.
Really? I thought I heard from somewhere that she was actually, like, her and Suppy both, like, didn't plan on going to Korea, but, like, someone offered, like, to afford everything for them, so they're actually, like, living pretty comfortably.
Oh, I have no idea.
I thought you were serious, like, you actually heard that she was in a hostel. Okay.
No. I was just saying, like, you know, it's not like you're sitting at home where you grew up in your house, right? Like, it's not your comfort zone, maybe. Traveling's always a bit different, and going to Korea is certainly going to be a big mentality shift. But, you know, training over there, we're going to be honest, Scarlett's going to get a lot of really good training, regardless of how the Acer Team Story Cup plays out. So, whether she's on the top of her game now, or whether she's kind of, I don't know, okay at best, we're going to see a really good Scarlett in a couple months' time, that's for certain.
Well, she's playing part-time, but hopefully we'll be able to see really good Scarlett for, you know, some time to come. Maybe she's like Stefano, doesn't even need to practice 24/7.
Stefano's a weird anomaly, though, if we're gonna be honest. He's like the definition of a YOLO when it comes to StarCraft 2.
You only live once, so turtle it up with Swarm Hosts.
Alright, well, a couple Reapers are going to poke away at this Queen. Now, getting a one Zergling kill to start is decent, but it's nothing crazy. And he didn't have to leave that second one at home because he's making sure to corral all the Lings within Scarlett's base. So this allows Heart to build a command center on the low ground pretty comfortably. The factory gets started. And as far as the follow-up to this goes, I imagine it's going to be somewhat standard. Even the third command center coming down to base. Yeah, so we're not going to see quicker Banshees by any means, but we will see those Hellions coming out in due time.
Yeah. Last I needed Banshees. I'm surprised he's not doing Banshees again here. It could have been because he was facing Bly. Maybe he knows that Bly, you know, is aggression, or, you know, maybe he just felt like it. I don't know. But the reason I say I'm surprised he's not doing it here is because more and more, like, especially Merry-Go-Round seems to be the map where Zerg's always open with some type of roach pressure. Usually that, like, 8 to 10 roach pressure. Just seems to always happen.
Well, actually, it's funny you bring that up, because again, like, we've seen a lot of players kind of moving more towards this Roach Hydra composition, and especially on Merry-Go-Round. And it's not something that's going to be easy to deal with, but Scarlett, for the longest time that we've ever known her, she likes her Mutalisks, she likes her Zerglings, and she loves her creep spread.
Yeah, for sure. It's just, you know, the map really doesn't play well. It plays, I should say it plays well to Roach Hydra more than Muta because it's kind of close, especially like in these positions are kind of close, just, you know, getting right on top of your main. The third can be hard to take because it is kind of far away, and the airspace is limited because of those barriers. And Mutas don't have the same, you know, way of getting out and harm free as they do. And of course that also means that medevac drops aren't as good either. But
I would just like to officially voice my disgust with the lack of ragdoll effect and the black blood instead of red blood when things die. I hate casting on the Korean server.
Wow, you're really quite picky.
Dude, I love watching something die and having its corpse go flying, or like a barbecue fest on Circlings. It's disgusting and awesome and amazing. But like the Korean server, they like super hardcore censored it. It makes me sad. Now this is, oh, look what hard, this is something we've seen his teammate Ryung do quite frequently actually. The double engineering base on the front lines. I think we cast, was this Daedalus Point where there's like double engineering as part of the wall and then he had to move them back towards the main later on? Is that US casting for that? I can't remember. But Ryung actually ended up doing that where, again, you put the upgrades up, you get the wall up a little bit faster. It's much stronger than a supply depot, of course, but there's always the risk that these die, and you can't afford losing your 3-3 upgrades when they're like 90% complete. So I'm not sure if Hart will move these back a little bit later or if he'll just try and keep these alive the entire game, but this is risky as far as upgrades go, but it's really nice as far as walling goes.
Yeah, and usually you don't see mutas attacking that specific position either. Like, they're always going to find the mineral line, and usually you have the engine base near the mineral line, so they think, oh, I might as well. I'm here, right? Over there, they usually don't get there. So, at the very least, they're probably not going to be sniped by mutas, but of course, a Baneling bus later on could definitely take them down.
Hart being pretty active with these Hellions too, by the way. I like this. He doesn't exactly have like 8 or 10. It wasn't like he was hiding Blue Flame by any means, but the Marine push behind this is what makes this really scary. He never got in there to really kill drones. He never poked at the Queens, but that's fine because the Marines will bring the damage. And quite frankly,
yes,
the Baneling Nest not going to be done in time for this.
So the whole thing with this is that, you know, the Zergs know the timings of medevacs, like, really, really well. So she knows exactly when she can get a Baneling Nest to have Banelings for the medevac attack. This is coming like 30 seconds to a minute earlier. She is not prepared for this.
Yeah, this is, I feel it's really caught her off guard. This is something we've seen a lot of Terran players really trying to go for these more aggressive pushes. Now, there might be no medevacs, but that stim is going to be absolutely worthwhile as we see these Zerglings just dissipate. The Queens go down as well. Scarlett flooding in from behind. Can she hold this? There's not a lot of Marines left, but the Hellions still stand. It's going to deal great damage to these Lings. And let's be honest, no matter what happens here for Hart, even if he loses everything, this was a pretty scary push.
I think it was worth it. These pushes no longer ever end the game because everyone got so much better and whatnot. But also, I mean, it was without combat shields. And of course, the reason you wait for the medevacs is that so you can do that push and also get out. That was pretty much like, if that wasn't going to end the game, which it probably wasn't, you were going to lose those units. Like, of course you were. Unless maybe the medevacs like boosted over there. I don't know. But
well, the other thing we have to consider too is those Marines are going to get a lot more kills before the Banelings are done too. So like you're going to kill more Zerglings to prevent Banelings in the first place. But this drop, ooh, there's a Spine Car on the main, but that's not going to stop this. This is a lot of Marines with Stim Pack, and the medevac's going to be able to heal this quite nicely. Picks up though, doesn't want to over-engage, sees the amount of Zerglings on the ground.
Totally on top of things. Now, she's going to have a bit of a lead in the upgrade, which is nice for her. Hart had to start this a little bit later. And of course, you know, he's a little afraid too, like maybe a counterattack could have happened. But luckily, it's not. She's still droning up just a little bit more.
But is he? Okay, I was gonna say he didn't scan. Was he trying to bait Zerglings up here to the north or something?
I think he was, so that he could go into the main again.
Well, not gonna happen, sadly. Does pick up another creep tumor. I was wondering why he unloaded there kind of randomly.
Yeah, this is the time where mutas could we're probably going to be out if they're going for mutas, so he knows that and does get away. Getting on a creep always dangerous, but you got to clean it up somehow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about like the vision it gives people. You kind of joke about creep being map hacks, and to be honest, to some extent for some players it is. But I mean, it keeps Scarlett back. It limits the engagement areas. You never really want to engage off of creep, which is why she's pulling back. So again, this is for Hart to remove the creep, limits the areas in which Scarlett can take good engagements, which increases the chance you can actually fight a little bit better, a little bit more effectively. But Scarlett's on 4 bases, by the way, guys. Not at all scared or threatened by this, even though that big pressure attack came early and new hatchery just finished being set up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, creep takes so long to leave. I mean, you feel so paranoid about staying here because you know that they're prepared and they're gonna be ready to go soon, and then that's when they send their queens out and just put another creep tumor down. It's pretty annoying, especially for people like Scarlett who are very keen on their creep spread.
Alright, just as a re-update for those who are just tuning in, guys, Sella, this is Scarlett playing on Sella's account. She doesn't have an account on Kree outside of her barcode, and she's not allowed to use a barcode for the Acer Team Story Cup, so just to hopefully clear that out of people's confusion. Now, we do have Thor's finally coming out for Heart, as well as some Marauders. These are going to be great for putting on the front lines. You know, there's no Roaches here, why would you need Marauders? But they soak the hits pretty freaking good from those Banelings. And let's not forget concussive shells connecting to anything, make it a little bit easier to deal with moving forward. But the Woodwise get baited out by Scarlett, really nice hits go off. And this opens the opportunity to move in. Banelings are going to choose to engage off of Creep. Ooh, these Marines are going to stim for their lives back towards the bunker. That's still so many Banelings to have to deal with, though. That's not going to be fun. Stutter stepping the way home. Trying to get away from these Banelings, but this opens the way to the SCV line. And oh my god, Heart loses all of his SCVs. Oh, 21 things just died. A great disturbance in the force.
Unfortunately, he also had not planned down his 4th command center yet, so it's not like he's okay in the economy. He's actually, that's a little worrying, to be honest. Of course, his main is mining out eventually. No, actually, it seems like he's accommodated for the fact that it's going to be mined out faster, so he's less saturation there. Which means he doesn't have as many to transfer. Still, though, his armies looks okay. He has that drop, still trying to do something.
Unfortunately, it looks like it is going to get cleaned up, but this allows the army to be moved forward here for Heart, so you know, with all the units responding to the 3rd, he starts cleaning up more creep here in the central part of the map.
Yeah, but now he's on creep, though. I mean, yeah, you clean it up, but now Scarlett's like, alright, yeah, you're on my turf now.
There's so many Banelings here. I don't think he's got enough to deal with this. Stims away for his life, but even if he cleans up the Banelings, there's still the Mutalisks to worry about. Marauder's doing a great job with those concussive shells, but Zerglings are going to be a little too powerful. GG's going to be called, and Scarlett will take the game. Those SCV hits were just too rough.
Yeah.